Hello and welcome to the Weekly Drive-In. I'm Josh Howie and with me is Cory Jordan.
Hello.
So good. Coming up on the show, we've got a review of the new film Brooklyn, among other things that we're going to talk about, but we'll get to that later. First, we're going to do news. That's how we start.
Gotta do news.
Gotta do news.
Gotta do news.
Right, some news. Did you get any news? Because I seem to always do the news. Did you think of anything?
Well, no, because you can't really think of news.
Oh, fuck off.
You were on the page. I would have just been on the same page as you.
True. All right, news it is. You're right.
No! Yeah, I'm alright.
Good.
Built a bridge.
Right. Scarlett Johansson's been name dropped to star in the new Gamergate film, which, if you don't know what Gamergate is, it's basically in 2014 there was stuff springing up on Twitter about ethics of video game journalism after a female game developer's ex-boyfriend posted like a hate blog about her sleeping with a journalist to get good press for a game or something like that. It was also like pushing sexism in video games and things like that, basically. And now they're making a movie about it because that's what people do these days. Don't know if we're going to talk about thoughts, but just a bit of insight.
Is ScarJo playing the woman?
The
The
woman.
The woman. Is ScarJo playing the woman?
I don't know. It's literally they're just in talks about making it, and
right.
She it like got the attention of a bunch of Hollywood people, including her, and she was just like, "Yeah, I'd be interested in doing that." So it could be about the woman. I guess it would be.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. I can look it up. But I probably don't really want to name drop.
Would they try and turn her into some sort of hero though? Because if ScarJo's like the main cast.
She's probably. I don't think it was like hateful against. Well, the Twitter stuff was all hateful against her.
Yeah.
But she kind of. I don't think it was really warranted. So they're probably gonna put her in the innocent light, or they'll dramatize it.
Yeah.
Like they do with most things.
And
it'll be all right. But Scarlett Johansson's probably going to be in it, so I'm going to watch it.
Of course.
Of course. Right. Next. Nicholas Winding Refn. Refn. Don't know how you pronounce his last name. We're going to go with Refn.
Well, okay.
Ren.
Well, I'd go with Ren.
Ren. Right. Nicholas Winding Ren. He has a new horror film coming out called Neon Demon. It's sort of been in the works for a while, but it's finally been picked up by Amazon Studios and is starring Elle Fanning. Bit of context on that: he wrote and directed Only God Forgives, which you don't like.
It's a rubbish film.
Valhalla Rising and Bronson, which is an incredible film, and he also just directed Drive, which is like an indie classic these days. So that's pretty good. Don't know about Elle Fanning, especially since it's like meant to be a horror film. I think her sister Dakota Fanning is more that sort of thing. Like I think she showed more of. The film's not that great, but she showed more of a dramatic like side in the film Push with Chris Evans about like superheroes. That was a bit dark, but no, she was good in that. I think
she's a good actress as well.
Yeah,
but
I think Elle Fanning's a bit too
princessy.
Yeah.
Is she gonna be? Is Elle Fanning gonna be like the person who's being chased or whatever the film is actually about?
Yeah, I imagine. I'll quickly look it up, but I imagine.
Because I can see that turning out to be just another horror film with just a pretty
random
girl
actress, but he has a good film track record.
He does, yeah.
I haven't seen Only God Forgives yet, so whatever.
Ryan Gosling's really good in it, but the film itself's not amazing. Well, it's not good either. I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest.
Okay, so the IMDb sort of synopsis says, when aspiring model Jessie moves to Los Angeles, her youth and vitality are devoured by a group of beauty-obsessed women who will take any means necessary to get what she has.
Sounds like Stardust.
Yeah, but less mystical.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose.
And as discussed last week, Stardust is shit.
Stardust is
really good.
Not good.
Keanu Reeves is in it. Christina Hendricks.
Is Keanu Reeves being in it a good thing?
I don't know. Well, he was good in John Wick.
I haven't seen John Wick, to be fair.
The new film.
I've not
Christina
really.
Hendricks is in Mad Men. She's really good in that. Yeah, Elle Fanning is playing Jessie, like the main character.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be good. Maybe. Hopefully. We'll see. Moving on. More Star Wars footage dropped, even though they said they weren't going to make any more. They were just international footage. And since it's a little over a month away, I thought I might as well start chatting about it. Still no Luke in the trailers. What do you think?
I don't really know. Maybe they're just sort of. I don't know. He's obviously in the film.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were like saving it for like a surprise, but I don't really know what's going on with that. Maybe he's just not like a huge part of the story.
I imagine it'll be some sort of twist where
Yeah.
I mean, if they go, I know all the external canon, sort of like all the books and things like that. That was all disregarded when they were making the new ones, and in those he like turns to the dark side and things like that. So I mean, it would be a really nice twist. I'd like to see Luke.
Yeah, I
like,
think that'd be good.
Go all Darth Vader, but
Yeah.
who knows? We still don't really know the identity of Kylo Ren.
We don't really know much about it.
No.
Like it's basically just like a montage of Star Wars footage with no really idea of what's going on or who the people are. Obviously, we know who Han Solo is and whatnot, but these new people. I was under the impression that they were Han Solo's and Leia's kids.
Yeah.
Or she is the main girl,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Rey. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
I think Oscar Isaac's character is gonna. I'm very excited for him. Just can't
Yeah.
love him. But there's like something about him, and I can't remember the main character's name. The one out of Attack the Block.
The actor or the character?
The character.
I don't know.
Finn. Finn, that's his name.
Finn.
Yeah,
It's not
basically.
Star Wars, is it?
I know. What a loser. He's called Finn. But yeah, I think they're going to have some sort of bond, right?
Right.
And I think Han Solo's probably going to die, which Harrison Ford would be really happy about because he hates Star Wars.
He hates everything.
Yeah, I know. He's such a grumpy old man.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe he
just
shouldn't have done Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, that's probably why he's depressed, to be fair. And Anchorman 2.
Yeah. I didn't even watch that. I like watched the first 10 minutes and was like, this is literally awful. and
It
stopped.
isn't great. The fight scene in it's funny, just because it's just so over the top, and it's better than. Well, no, it's not better than the first one, but it's still hilarious because Will Smith's in it, and then
Is he?
everyone's in it. Yeah, in the fight scene, it's so good.
This is a problem when you make a really good like first installment and then a production company's like, oh, we best make more,
Yeah.
and then they just, because they have more money to make more, they take the piss out of it in 22 Jump Street when they literally go, oh, they think if they put the same amount, put more money into it, they're going to get better results and things like that. It's like jokes. Poor.
Paul.
We'll move on.
Okay.
The Age of Ultron salaries became public, and obviously Robert Downey Jr. was paid the most. But surprisingly enough, the second most paid actor in that was Scarlett Johansson, which is quite nice. Bit of older quality again. Love a bit of that.
Yeah, that
It was by
surprised
quite
me.
a lot as well, because I think it was something like Robert Downey Jr. got 40 mil for it, Scarlett Johansson got 20 mil for it, which I mean is a massive gap. But I mean Robert Downey Jr. is just like, I don't want to do this, so I want this much money to do it, and they're like, yeah, sure, we're Disney, we'll just give you loads of money.
Yeah.
But like after Scarlett Johansson's 20 mil, it goes down to like the third is Chris Evans with like 6.9 mil. And it goes down to like Mark Ruffalo only got like 2.8 mil. I say only. I would love to get 2.8 mil for doing
but
some stuff.
in terms of salary, that's quite. For
Yeah,
film salary.
especially that. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But it's especially after Patricia Arquette doing that big speech.
You see, when she gave that speech,
Yeah.
I was obviously watching it, and Meryl Streep just sort of stands up and she's just like, yeah, amazing. And I was just thinking, I bet you get paid loads.
Oh yeah.
And I had a look, and the woman is like one of the most like decorated actresses ever.
Yeah.
She only gets like 7 mil per film.
Seriously.
Yeah, like that's not that much for someone of her caliber.
yeah.
She's won like 3 Oscars and like 8 Golden Globes. There ain't many people that have done that.
Mm.
And to only not be considered one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood is stupid.
Then also Jennifer Lawrence had that essay sort of thing that went viral about her women's wage in comparison to men's, where like she was voted Forbes. Well, I say voted. She was Forbes the highest paid actress last year, but she was still like 40 mil below the highest paid male actor last year, even though she'd done loads more films. So it is quite nice to see that women are getting paid a bit more nowadays, especially with it coming to light a lot more.
Yeah.
Thanks for your input. Yeah. Also in the news, Bryan Singer is making the new adaptation of 2000 Leagues Under the Sea, which I'm actually really excited for because I really like the story, and obviously it has been done. I'm not sure what the decade was. Do you know when it was?
Which one?
The first one.
The Kirk Douglas one?
Yeah.
It's 50s, I think.
50s. But with like new technology, especially after things like Avatar that had such groundbreaking visuals, like despite how not good the film is.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but like as story goes, it's not exactly
No,
great.
it's not the strongest story.
But yeah, basically with visuals like that around these days, I really want to see that story portrayed now.
Yeah, I think that could go quite well.
Yeah.
Because Bryan Singer's a good director as well.
It's like, if you don't know the story, watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because that's a great film that no one likes except me, because it is great.
It's a good film.
Yeah, it's basically Captain Nemo and his Nautilus, the ship. Yeah, I'm very excited to see that Jules Verne novel turned into a modern day film, which will be good. Right, let's go on to the review. Deal with that. Deal with it. So, we mentioned last week about Burnt, and we were planning to go see it this week, but then it came out and was just slaughtered by reviewers. So we're going to remind you to go see Chef, the John Favreau film, which is very good. But instead of that, we went to see Brooklyn. And we're going to talk about it because it's a review. Do you want to go first?
It was almost like surprisingly really good because obviously we were going to go see Burnt, and then Brooklyn's kind of just come in under the radar with Burnt, and we thought we'll go see that, and then I actually really liked it, and it's surprisingly funny as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really took from it. Like,
yeah.
I thought it was a very it's hard to describe because like when you're so used to a world of Hollywood films, and then a film like they're all dramatized and things like that, which I like. This is dramatized, fair enough, but it's done in such a innocent way. Like it comes across so like it's just such a pleasant film. It is really good.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it, and the comedy in it, which I wasn't expecting, because we both said when we came out, like we were expecting to be sat through like a 2-hour just straight drama piece, and it was so genuinely funny.
Yeah, like I know like every film tries to have the odd joke, but they just seem to be more, and they all hit all the jokes.
Yeah, they literally everyone in the cinema was laughing at every joke they wanted. It just completely hit the mark. It was perfect in that respect. The main actress, Suarez.
Yeah.
Going around biting people. No, it's her. She was really good. I hope she gets an Oscar nod because I think she actually deserves one.
Yeah, she just deserve it, yeah.
Like, for an unknown actress, at least in this country, she's...
I
don't know if
in the past couple of years, she already had an Oscar nomination.
What for?
Atonement.
Oh,
but
right, of course.
She was young when that was out, and I know that she's been in a couple of others. Like she was in Ryan Gosling's film last year, Lost River. She's good in that as well. I mean, she's Irish, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I thought she was American, so she's clearly a good actress because I had no idea she was actually Irish.
Yeah, she is very good, and I hope she gets an Oscar nomination. It's one of those films that it came out along with in America, it came out along with Spotlight in the same weekend, which I don't know if we're going to see. We're not going to see.
I think we are.
Are we going to see it?
When it comes to a stage when
We're watching
Obviously,
2 a week.
yeah, we're watching 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Spotlight will be one that we want to watch.
Yeah, we'll probably be reviewing that at some point. But they came out at the same weekend, I believe, in America, and they both opened really well. I think they're both sort of competing for best screenwriter. Or is that the one? Best? Is it the best
I'm not
screenwriter?
sure. Well, I know that. I don't know if it is adapted from something.
Yeah,
I know that Spotlight's a true story.
Yeah, so they're basically going for writer Oscars, I believe. They're both sort of going for that area because, like, films like this, which are more tailored to an indie market, like things like Her, like those sorts of films that weren't the blockbuster. Well, not blockbuster, but like the ones that weren't going to get nominated for best picture.
I can see Brooklyn being nominated.
Yeah,
now.
I can see
now
it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, but I don't know if it will. I don't think it will get the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
In that respect, but it was a genuinely very good film, and it's one of those films where I was watching it sitting through the cinema, and things happen where I was like, oh, I don't agree with that. I really wish that hadn't happened. But by the end of the film, you're like, everything happened the way it should have happened. It all came round full circle, and I was very happy with the end result. I just thought it was a good film.
One problem with it, it was that I didn't like the American guy. Like, I didn't like.
See, this is the thing. I love the American guy. I thought he was great. I really like him, and I'm sure he's in something that I can't remember.
Yeah, but
I liked him in that as well.
I don't know what it was about him. There was just sometimes that when you watch a film, there's just an actor that you don't like. It wasn't the character as such; it was the actor more than anything. I just wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, fair enough.
The scene when they're at his dinner table is funny. Like his little brother's hilarious, but just him as I just know.
Fair, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope it does get the attention it deserves. Anything else on that?
No, I
I think of something else. It was a good, like the way it was written, the progression of the characters was very good. I thought, especially for the main character.
Yeah.
I do like the little hints here and there that play out later on, like the foreshadowing and stuff like that. It was just very well made, very well put together, and I do love a Irish film. Right, talking points. Do you want to go into that?
Yeah, can do, mate.
What do you want to do? Let's have a look. I'll have a look. Do you want me to just pick a random one?
Yeah, mate, curveball.
All right. Since we talked about Gamergate earlier, let's have a chat about video game films. Are there any good ones off the top of your head?
None that I can think of. None that come to mind.
I don't think there are any like genuinely good films. I think there are good ones that are like, yeah, we'll have a night in and we'll watch that or something. Like the Resident Evil series, for example, are like they're not like great films, but I can watch them quite happily.
Yeah, I could probably sit and watch them, but in terms of films that I'd like to see, they're not films that really appeal to me.
No,
but I think
they're not cinema films.
I'm probably most excited for the Assassin's Creed film.
Yeah,
because I think that could actually be a really good film. I
really hope they're going to do that well because they have so much source material from the games that they can pull from, and they are a very successful series.
Yeah.
I think they just have to pick the right one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not read much about it, so I don't know.
I don't know anything about what kind of story it is, but
yeah, I
just know a bit about the cast.
I don't know if they're doing a new version, like create a new character, or they're just going with like one of the old favourites, like the main character from 2.
Yeah.
What the 2 series that it was. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to see a Black Flag film after that game, just because I love pirates and the whole.
The main character is called Callum Lynch.
Callum Lynch. That's the third one. Oh, yeah, it's Connor. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't recognise that.
But really, not a lot's come out for it. I mean, the artwork looks quite good, and Michael Fassbender looks pretty badass as Assassin's Creed. He does look quite cool.
It's because it's Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, he does.
He's going to get so many nods this year. We're going to see Steve Jobs next week.
Yeah, we are.
That's the reviews of that. Like, I've heard, like I've heard only good things. Like, but the one complaint I heard the other day was that it might not appeal to a general audience. I think people like me and you who like are really into films will just love it.
Yeah.
But people who are more passive moviegoers
Who go for simple entertainment,
well,
basically.
I think the idea is that they won't enjoy it as much.
Yeah,
so
but
it's an Oscar film essentially.
yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? I mean, obviously Danny Boyle's directing it, and the one thing that I've heard like numerous times is it's basically smart people making a film about a smart person.
Yeah.
And that's just what works.
And it's by the guy who wrote Social Network as well, which is Alan Sorkin or something like that.
Something like that.
And I've heard that the themes are pretty much the same as Social Network. So it's likely we're going to see that with Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs instead of...
But I didn't
Jesse
like
Eisenberg.
Social Network
See,
that much.
I loved it. I thought it was a really good representation of that.
It was, but it's just a
character
film, I guess...
Person.
Just as entertainment, I didn't like it that much. Obviously,
Yeah.
I went to cinema to see it, and then I came out a bit like, I wanted it to be more fun.
Right.
But then again, it was also a David Fincher film,
Yeah.
so there's always going to be bits and bobs of David Fincher's sort of directing style in there, and it's actually quite a dark film, considering like the way it's done. Anyway, it does look quite like not Girl with the Dragon Tattoo dark, but like dark.
The music for it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's incredible, and I really hope that, like, I like to pick up on things that aren't just the film itself, like things like the music and the score in general. I'm really into that. I want it to be good. I believe it'll be good. I'm very excited to see Seth Rogen as.
Yeah, I'm apparently Jeff Daniels is very good in it.
Yeah.
But I am more excited to see Seth Rogen take a sort of like a dramatic turn. I mean, he's done drama comedy, but
yeah, like with 50-50, which is also an incredible film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he is a very good supporting character in that. I'd like to see how he takes this role.
Yeah.
Back to video game films that we were actually meant to be talking about. Well, like there just aren't that many that aren't pretty much just B movies.
To be honest, the thing that gives me hope is that video games are becoming very like narrative based.
Yeah.
And obviously you can't make a film with something that doesn't really have a plot. I mean you can, but I mean with video games you can't. So like films with like they should make a film like LA Noire.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that narrative wise is really good. I mean the game itself does get a little bit repetitive because you are doing the same thing over and over, but it's still a really good story.
It's like games like Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
And it's like games these days are using like well-known actors to play their characters. Like Beyond Two Souls, I think it is. The main characters in that are played by Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe, two very well-known, well-respected actors.
And even Call of Duty's, they know that.
Nathan Fillion's in the new Halo.
Yeah,
like,
and obviously Kevin Spacey's in Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
No, Advanced Warfare, sorry.
But yeah, I think there's hope for video game films.
Yeah.
I just don't think they've made the perfect one yet. I don't think there is one video game film where we can go, yes, they did it. Well done.
I think Assassin's Creed, I'm hoping that would be the one.
Because like I had hope for Prince of Persia with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it's not a terrible film. Like, I mean, it's entertaining.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
but
entertaining.
The writing is dreadful.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so expositional, it hurts. Like, it literally pains me. And I mean, even Jake Gyllenhaal's not that great in it.
I know.
And we love him.
We do love him. He's so good.
He is very good.
Oh, he's good. I've still not seen Southpaw.
No, neither have I.
I feel like we should really see that at some point.
Well, it comes out. The thing is, it comes out on the same day as Inside Out on DVD, so
Right.
I will buy both of them. Whether I buy them both on the day, I probably will, but I will buy it when it comes out November 23rd, which is like a week or 2 weeks. So I will be buying that, and we can talk about it in a couple of weeks.
Awesome, you'll enjoy that.
Yeah,
it is very. I'm very excited. Also, Rachel McAdams is in it, so points. All right, video game films, forget them. They've not made a good one yet. They might soon, hopefully.
Unless you have watched one that you think is beyond anything you've ever seen, then
we'll talk about that later.
Let us know.
Let us know. I'm very excited. Right. Oscars. Or do you want to do more talking points? We can do another one.
I'm doing more talking points.
More talking points. All right then. I'm just going to try and think of one that's relevant. Do the Netflix.
I've got the franchise. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Netflix.
Recently, Beasts of No Nation came out, and obviously it's a Netflix original film, so it was released in cinemas, but it was also released on Netflix. And I think some people have nodded towards Idris Elba being nominated, and even the child actor, because he's very good in it. And I mean, the film looks amazing as well. But the thing is, it's about whether the Academy can really appreciate sort of this new way of films being released. Because obviously there's more Netflix original films coming out. Like, I watched the trailer for The Ridiculous Six.
Yeah, but that's Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that is Adam Sandler. I'm not saying that'll be like a good film. But, you know, I personally don't think the Academy will actually realise these films.
I think it's going to be something that slips under their radar.
Unless it takes them a couple of years to really get used to the fact that this is how films are distributed these days.
Yeah, we know the Academy.
Yeah, they're very old-fashioned.
They are old-fashioned. I don't think they're quite on board with the internet age yet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure they're still unhappy about digital film. But, I mean, so are a lot of people. But still, I mean, the films are going to be coming out and have come out on Netflix that are worthy of Oscars and things like that.
Beasts of No Nation is literally
exactly.
a perfect example.
Beasts of No Nation, Oscar worthy. I just don't know if it's hard to
I mean, the subject's there. What it's about, the Academy's not going to be like, no, because, you know, it's about a child soldier in, it's filmed in Ghana. I don't know if it's set in Ghana. But, you know, it's not like, it's quite a tough subject, and the film's quite tough to watch at times. And I know the Academy does like films with like a strong subject or something like very political and whatnot. But, you know, I just don't think that, I don't know, it doesn't help that Netflix has become almost like an internet joke.
Yeah.
Like, do the Academy want to be associated with something like that? But again, Beast of No Nation is still, it's one of the better films I've seen of the year.
Forget about it. Do you think that's like, I can imagine by the time Oscars come around and we'll do a show on it, and I am about 90% certain that we're going to be like, right, let's talk about snubs.
Yeah.
And we're like, right, so Beast of No Nation was not mentioned at all.
It depends on the quality of the films that are coming out, like, nearer the time.
Yeah.
But obviously, Steve Jobs is like the start of it. I think this is where they begin, and then you've got Bridge of Spies, the Spielberg film, which the Oscars are always going to love because it's Spielberg. And then you've obviously you've already got all those films in January that are coming out. Obviously, they might have already been released in America.
Yeah.
But you know, it could be a question of the films are just genuinely better than Beast of No Nation, and that like it's got nothing to do with the Netflix thing. But you know, Beast of No Nation is still, it should be even just take it into consideration, especially Idris Elba because he's very good in it.
Are you alright with films doing this then? Like, yeah, like you're happy, like, because I can imagine now it's going to start to become a trend where they did it with like TV shows. Like when it started, there was like Orange Is the New Black and House of Cards were like the main two Netflix original TV shows. Now there's loads of them.
Yeah. Even
Amazon Prime have got their own TV shows.
Transparent, is it?
Mr. Robot as well.
Yeah.
Is exclusive to that, and that Ron Perlman one.
Oh, Hand of God or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's like exclusive to Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But like those sorts of TV shows that are
but
internet exclusive.
Yeah.
And we're going to get films that are like coming out on those. Do you not feel like, because you pay however much to go to the cinema to see the film once, and I just don't know if people are going to go to the cinema to see a film that they can already watch on Netflix.
Oh, I think that's the problem they have, is that people will. I mean, I suppose the incentive is to sign up for Netflix to watch the film.
Yeah.
But you can just sign up for a month, watch the film, and then just decline it. But I mean, I use Netflix still. I think Netflix is really handy, and to have the odd film that's brand new, it's easy to watch. I don't have to pay to go to the cinema. I can just watch it in my room, and you know, which helps me to know more about films of the year.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Any more, or do you want to move on to?
Also,
Yes, Cory.
talking of Transparent, Transparent won 2 Golden Globes. House of Cards has won a lot as well. Like Kevin Spacey's won 2, I think, for that House of Cards. So Golden Globes are appreciating this way of.
I think.
But that's a completely different thing.
I think TV and film are a bit different.
Yeah, it is a completely different thing, but it's nice to see.
Yeah, that
TV,
they get
noticing stuff like that, and it'd be nice to see films do that.
I think there is
as long as they are good films.
Yeah, I think there's a difference though in the fact that there are a lot of Netflix originals which are like groundbreaking and just are better than general TV because they can basically do what they want.
Yeah. And
there's a lot less input from the companies that are the distribution companies. Whereas films, I like Beast of No Nation. I imagine a lot of people haven't heard about it, and I mean, it can be an incredible film, but
yeah,
without the promotion of a cinema release.
Yeah,
like
it takes away that feeling like you go to cinema to see a new film and then you don't get to see that film until maybe it comes out on DVD or it's on Sky. It takes away that. Like it's almost just gone into like the pool of films that are just on Netflix, and it's still like when you go on, the closest thing it has is when you go on Netflix, it's like at the top for about a week. But I can't imagine they'll do very well on DVDs and cinema wise, like money wise. I can't imagine that works. And maybe like Netflix subscriptions have gone up a lot. I don't know, but in terms of cinema and DVD purchases, they won't get many.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like without things like that, I mean, I know that Netflix can monitor how many views a film gets, but if a film doesn't get a high DVD release, like a buy rate, it's unlikely to push it.
Yeah.
But you never know. This could be the start of the new age.
Yeah, it could be.
The new age.
The new age. Which makes me sad because DVDs, man. We're
DVD
guys.
Yeah, I know. We're DVDs. They're so good. That's already dying out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Actually, move on.
Okay.
To Oscars.
Basically, each week we'll pick a year and we'll talk about our favourites, our letdowns, our recommendations of the year, and then we'll just have a little chat about the Oscars of the next year. So the films of 2005 that were nominated in 2006. So my favourite of 2005 was Sin City because I consider it to be one of my favourite films. It's really, in terms of cinema, it's really original. Like obviously it comes from the comics, but it's just so loyal to the comics that he's just sort of created this like completely original film, and it's amazing. And I love the Frank Miller, Robert Rodriguez kind of thing. It's good.
Yeah, I think it's one of those films that obviously until the second one came out, it was kind of a one of a kind. I mean, there's other films like 300 and stuff like that, which go that same sort of hyper stylistic sort of approach. But I think Sin City is it's a perfect piece of filmmaking.
Yeah, it is.
For what it wanted to be. I think it hit the mark exactly.
Yeah. We had 2 favourites this week, don't we?
Yes, we are.
My second one is Brick, another really original film, like in terms of screenwriting. Basically, it takes neo-noir style and sort of, instead of making it really dark and like LA Confidential's it's got this natural darkness to it. It uses this like dusk blue, and it's amazing. And like the writing is just amazing, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is amazing. And when I watched it, I felt like I had to watch it again because it was amazing. So I did.
Yeah, basically the Joseph Gordon-Levitt in like a high school sort of setting, but it's kind of a crime thriller.
Yeah, it's not technically a high school film, but you want to know a good high school film. That is basically
it is an incredible film.
Letdowns, I have my 2, which are, first one is Match Point, Woody Allen film. Not a huge fan of Woody Allen and not a huge fan of not a huge fan of Woody Allen anyway. Like, I mean, he's a good director, but his writing style's not really my cup of tea. And Match Point's, the main characters in it's not a huge fan, and I just didn't enjoy the film. Like, and it got good reviews, and I mean, I heard good things about it, and when I watched it, I just thought, no, this is just not for me. I just didn't enjoy it. And then the next one is War of the Worlds. Considering the cast and considering the director, it was a huge disappointment. It's so disappointing. And
That's Dakota Fanning, isn't it?
Yeah, that is literally the film is 2 hours of her screaming, basically.
It's like 2012.
Yeah, I love Tom Cruise, maybe one of the only people that do, but he just really, I could not stand him in that film. I hate all the characters, and admittedly the effects are good. The effects look amazing, but you know, with the technology these days, it is not hard to make a film look good visually. But considering the caliber of Spielberg, and I think he's actually really underrated, because Spielberg is the go-to director if someone says name a director. And if someone's like, if you say my favourite director is Steven Spielberg, people are just like, oh well, it's just the only name you know.
It's a cop out.
But
yeah.
he's got about 7 or 8 films
He's
that are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he's a very good director.
Yeah, and the War of the World is just probably his worst. I thought it was dreadful. And we'll move on to recommendations because I'm getting angry. Recommendations. First one is Hustle and Flow. It is Terrence Howard, and that is about a pimp who tries to get into rap music. So he tries to just like push his career in rap, and the soundtrack is so good. And Terrence Howard, I'm not a huge fan of Terrence Howard, but I really liked him in it. I mean, it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, like watching a pimp and with all his prostitutes and that. But it is a really good film, and there's a good payoff as well. My next one was The Squid and the Whale. In terms of screenplay, is the best one of the year. Like, basically, it's Jesse Eisenberg, Jeff Daniels, Laura Linney, and some other little kid. And it's about the family going through a divorce. And it's just so well written. Like, basically, Jeff Daniels' character is a literature teacher. And for the character that they've tried to like make him to be, you need to do a lot of research into the kind of... It basically talks how the university professors talk, but it's just so well written. Like, Jesse Eisenberg's character is amazing, and Laura Linney's is even great. Just the whole thing comes together, and it's really good. And it was nominated for an Oscar, Best Original Screenplay, but we will get onto the Oscars. Guilty Pleasure, I guess it's Sky High, isn't it? I mean...
It's a great film, and you know it is.
Yeah, it is really good.
So good. Watch it now. If you don't know what Sky High is, it's basically the school for superheroes, and things happen. It's great. Don't watch it. It's really shit. Right, let's go on to my bits. So, for 2005 had loads of good films. You've got things like V for Vendetta, which we talked about last week, Serenity, which was like the conclusion film to the Firefly series, which is very highly rated. But my first one of my favourite films from that year was Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic with Joaquin Phoenix, which Reese Witherspoon won the Best Actress Oscar for, which, by the look on your face, Cory, you weren't happy about that, but we'll talk about it later. But yeah, I thought that was an incredible telling of his story, Johnny Cash's story. It doesn't hide anything from you. It shows what he went through and things like that. And I just think it's well scripted, it's well acted, and it's just a general all rounder. And I think it deserved a bit more acclaim than what it got. But yeah, it is a great film. You should go watch it if you get the time. The second one is Jarhead, the Jake Gyllenhaal war flick. The film itself is about him being inducted. Like, it goes through training, and you get a strong insight to the brutality of their training methods, and the sort of pressure that they have, progression through his induction into the army and the pressures that come with that, and how brutal it was for everyone involved. and when he is a part of Desert Storm, the sort of pressure that they go under from sheer isolation from the outside world, and the sort of mental breakdown that some of the characters go through. And there is a thing in the film where they have like a wall of girlfriends that have all succumbed to leaving them, essentially, the soldiers, and it's at first sort of a jokey thing and then becomes quite serious, and I think it's portrayed really well. And they also have it goes on to show the aftermath and just how some of the other characters have become, and it is just such a strong insight into that world. I just think it was a very well made film.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like other war films, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the genre of it is war, but if you expect like guns blazing battlefield, it's nothing like that. It's more of a character analysis
it's
of
a
Jake Gyllenhaal's,
psychological
Jake Gyllenhaal's character. And Jake Gyllenhaal's obviously perfect in it because he's pretty much perfect in everything except for Prince of Persia, what we mentioned
He is
earlier.
very good in it.
But yeah,
There are other films that deserve a high recommendation, such as Coach Carter, but we won't get onto that. I'm just going to say it because Coach Carter is amazing.
Yeah, in terms of films that year that you should probably watch,
It's
obviously I assume most people have seen Batman Begins, and most people have seen Revenge of the Sith because the action in that's good. It's not well written, but and obviously Lords of Dogtown, which we both love.
Yeah.
And we were both going to put it on our favourites, but
it's about the startings of the skateboard industry.
Yeah.
But it is incredible. Right, move on to letdowns. For me, I was so angry that they brought out Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because it's the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is such an amazing film, and I get so nostalgic about it whenever I watch it. I think it's just incredible, and this just spit on it and just tore it completely down. Johnny Depp, I think he was well cast for it. I think he would.
He's got the quirkiness of Willy Wonka.
He has the makings of being a good Willy Wonka, but I think it was really badly written. I think it was really badly just produced. I think they went very CGI in some bits, and it was just poorly made. I'm really angry about it. My other one was The Island with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson, which is basically about a group of people who were bred as clones to replace people when they replace people, but like if the real person was injured, like had to have a transplant or something, the clones would be there as donors. I had a lot of high hopes because I liked the actors in it. I thought it was very well cast, but it just fell flat at every turn. I think it was meant to be very intense in certain bits, and I was never on the edge of my seat. It was just a bit of a letdown.
I didn't think it was that bad, considering it's a Michael Bay film. I mean, it's not that bad considering the guy's not a very good director. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's like an amazing film and you should watch it, but I mean, I didn't mind it that much. It was just sort of one of those films that I can put on and I can watch it. I don't get excited by it or anything. And also, the thing about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is Johnny Depp has got the quirkiness of Willy Wonka, but instead of doing Johnny Depp, he did Tim Burton's Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
Because Johnny Depp is a very good actor when he's. I mean, he has had great films with Tim Burton, but he's such a good actor when he's just apart from him. Like older films like Nick of Time with Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken. I think that's an incredible film, and his character, like recently Black Mass is coming out, may have come out already. Has it come out already?
No, it's not in this country.
Yeah, it's not out in this country yet, but it is out in America where it has got great reviews and apparent that it is a return to form for Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
and just his whole career with Tim Burton, I think, has just dampened him as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, even I know it's probably the performance that sort of typecast him, but him as Jack Sparrow like that's such a good performance.
Yeah.
I know people are now tired of it because it's the same old stuff, and the fourth film's terrible. But when I first watched Pirates of the Caribbean, I thought he was just amazing in it.
Yeah, he's so perfect for it. Like, before the whole Tim Burton's Johnny Depp thing came about, Pirates of the Caribbean, his character Jack Sparrow, he was so perfect for the role, and that film is an incredible film. It's like we were talking about video game films earlier. Like, a film based off a ride is better than any film based off a video game that have narratives.
Yeah. Just shows you when the right people are on it.
Yeah, exactly. You can make it can be made.
Although I'm not going to take anything away from Tim Burton or Johnny Depp because I love Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
And
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd is amazing. Not too big on Edward Scissorhands.
Really?
I didn't like it that much.
Quite a lot of people it's quite
a universally liked film, but I mean I can watch it, but I can't say I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see why people don't like it. I thought you might. All right, we'll move on. Recommendations for the year. I have two, which they could I would have probably put these as my favourites of the year, but I wanted to have them as recommendations. One of them is A History of Violence with Viggo Mortensen, who, if you don't know, plays Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He basically plays average sort of guy who stops a mugging in his cafe, and it's televised on the news, and then things from his past start coming in to play, and a series of events unfold essentially. And it's just the director David Cronenberg his film track record is very good, with other films like Eastern Promises, which is an incredible film, also starring Viggo Mortensen. But I think it's such a well-written, directed, acted film. It's very well. It's one of those films that I have and will watch again. I just think it's very good. My other recommendation is, I think, Robert Downey Jr.'s return to form before Iron Man. I think as a written film, it is just incredible. Him and Val Kilmer in it, they have such good chemistry. It's basically about a thief who, after accidentally getting his co-robber killed while they're doing a robbery, stumbles into a casting room, and he basically tells them that it was all his fault, and in their minds they're like, what a great method actor, and becomes an actor. And then things happen down the line and it gets a bit crazy. It's just very well done.
Yeah.
Like I say, him and Val Kilmer have such good chemistry in the film together, and it's just great.
Yeah, I mean,
you definitely need to watch it.
Like I said about Brick, if you like neo-noir, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is just as good.
Yeah.
Well,
I personally think it's better.
Well, Brick's like one of my favourite films. So,
Yeah.
But in terms of neo-noir, there's only a select amount of films, and 3 of them are this year. Sin City's one.
Yeah.
And then there's Brick, and there's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I mean, those 3 films are just, in terms of the genre, are probably 3 of the best, along with like LA Confidential and Blade Runner.
Definitely. Guilty pleasures. Let's get onto that one. Speaking of video game films, Doom with The Rock and Carl Urban, who now is Dredd and very good at it. Yeah. Let's face it, it's a terrible film, but it's so fun to watch. It's the sort of film you can just have drinking games from, and it's incredible. And Rosamund Pike, who just sort of refound fame with Gone Girl, is in it. It's just ridiculous, but it's so good. There is one sequence in the film where the camera goes onto Carl Urban's, it's from Carl Urban's point of view, and it's like a video game montage, and it's so ridiculous but great. And if you haven't seen it, watch it just so you know what I'm on about.
That is a great scene.
Throw it in the bin and run away. But yeah, no, it's such a guilty pleasure film. Also, Shark Boy and Lava Girl came out that year, which is just ridiculous. I just had to mention it. Do you want to talk about the Oscars from that year?
Let's do it. Should we start with the major one? Best Picture. Right, I know technically Crash won, and we'll get onto why that is wrong in so many ways. But Crash is technically a 2004 film, but it was released in LA in 2005, which meant that it was eligible for nomination. But yeah, basically the film's not very good. And the film is about racism in Los Angeles. It's so in your face that you just can't handle it. Like, it's so poorly written, but for some reason they liked it more than Brokeback Mountain, which is an incredible film.
And like every other film out that year.
Every film nominated is better than Crash. So, just...
It's that sort of thing that we were going on about with the Academy being so old-fashioned. It's like the thing we were talking about last week with 12 Years a Slave basically winning because it was about race. It's the same story.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean, admittedly, 12 Years a Slave, even though I don't like it, is a better film than Crash.
Yeah.
But it's horrendous.
The fact that when Jack Nicholson came out and gave the award to Crash, half of the crowd went, "Ooh," and Jack Nicholson just goes, "Yeah." But yeah, Crash isn't a very good film, but we'll move on because it's not worth our time.
It isn't worth our time.
In terms of...
Forget it. It was like 9 years ago.
In terms of biggest Oscar snubs, Brokeback Mountain losing to Crash is probably the biggest in terms of Best Picture. But yeah, we'll move on. Best Actor was Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Which
which I think he deserved. I mean, his voice in it's really annoying, but that's just what Truman Capote was like.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a tough category as well, because obviously Terrence Howard was there for Hustle and Flow.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger for Brokeback Mountain.
Joaquin Phoenix for Walk the Line.
Exactly.
Great.
They're all really good performances. Yeah. Probably Terrence Howard, probably the least most impressive. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad Philip Seymour Hoffman won because he's a great actor and he deserves to win. But I think Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix probably could have won, and I would have been happy as well. Yeah,
and like with Best Director, Ang Lee won for Brokeback Mountain, so I'm sure you're happy with that.
Yeah, I am.
Beating Munich, Steven Spielberg's film, and almost like Capote. And
Munich.
It's like it was the only. It's happened before, but this is like the most recent time. The Best Picture nominations and the Best Director nominations have been the same films. So many happened a handful of times before, and I just thought that was quite an interesting fact.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Crash also right. I actually think this is worse because Crash also won the Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah, which is so bad.
I think it's more of an insult because it's such a terribly written film.
Yeah,
especially when it was up against The Squid and the Whale, which you mentioned earlier.
Oh my, yeah. There's like no contest there at all. It's just so in your face, and I mean, even look, there's so many characters in it, and you just hate every single one of them. Sandra Bullock's.
Oh my god, it's just so how. They might as well. Every single character might as well have just gone, "I'm racist."
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, it's so terrible. It hurts. It's really bad.
And obviously, Reese Witherspoon won Best Actress. Who
was she against?
I have not watched any of the films that she was up against, so I cannot say that she didn't deserve to win. I mean, she was good. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the actress, but... Looking
at the other films, it's like Judi Dench was nominated for Mrs. Henderson. Miss Henderson Presents, sorry. There was also Keira Knightley for Pride and Prejudice, Charlize Theron for North Country.
Yeah.
But I think she deserved it. Out of those, I mean, we'll probably get on to people who should have been nominated for Best Actress in the snubs. But
in terms of supporting acting, Rachel Weisz won Best Supporting Actress. I mean, I've seen that film, Constant Gardener.
Yeah.
She's good in it. I personally think Michelle Williams in Brokeback Mountain was better because, you know, I think Brokeback Mountain is essentially just an amazing film because everyone in it is just at the top of their game. And then Best Supporting Actor was George Clooney for Syriana.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's not an easy film to watch, and he is good in it. Like, he kind of transforms himself a little bit. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal, again, maybe I'm just biased towards Brokeback Mountain for the year, but Jake Gyllenhaal should have won. Even though George Clooney is very good.
I have a list of snubs, and I'm going to get onto them, because why not? I think Sin City was literally snubbed for so many things. I think it should have deserved visuals.
Definitely.
In general, I think writing and things like that.
I personally think directing as
directing.
well.
The thing is, apparently I read that Robert Rodriguez dropped out of the Directors Guild and therefore wasn't allowed to get a nomination or something like that. I think that's what I heard. I think A History of Violence should have been nominated for Best Picture because
It was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
It was nominated for that, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I'm fine with it losing. I'm just glad it got nominated. But I think it was more worthy than a few of the Best Picture, especially Crash. Like, why was Crash? Why was Crash there?
Also, that was at a time when they were only doing 5 nominations a year.
Yeah.
And
now we're doing like 12 or something like
that. I think this year they were upping it to 10.
Yeah.
Which, if there was 10 films from 2005, then I think History of Violence would have definitely been
there. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith is the only Star Wars not to get a visual effects nomination.
Really?
Which
it's probably out of the prequels, it's definitely the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Visually.
It got a nomination for makeup, which I'm fine with. But yeah, I was just quite surprised because I think it's visually the best out of the out of the prequels.
It's just also, genuinely the best out of the 3 prequels.
Yeah. Also, Batman Begins only got a cinematography nomination. I mean, admittedly, it's unexpected for a comic book film to be in the Oscars at all, which was quite good. But
Nolan's trilogy is kind of reinvented.
Exactly, like Dark Knight is regarded as in like one of the top 5 films of all time now.
It's number 4, yeah.
Yeah, mainly because of Heath Ledger's Joker, admittedly.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're thinking about films, it is up there. And Batman Begins did start it off. And Walk the Line is another one that wasn't in Best Picture that I think should have been.
Definitely.
As well. And we were saying about written films like that, how like great well-written films, such as like Brick and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Both of them, or neither of them, appeared in the Best Screenplay.
Yeah, I know that Brick won an award. It was either Cannes or Sundance for originality. Like, it got a special achievement award for originality, which I was really quite happy that it actually won something like that. But yeah, I mean, is it the Oscars kind of film? Not really, but it probably should have been for original screenplay.
Yeah, I think the screenplay category should be for films like Brick and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and a host of many other films.
Like, obviously, some Best Picture nominees or winners, they do deserve to be in there.
Yeah, but
some don't. You kind of feel that they're just there because they're Best Picture nominations.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Crash winning, not only just being nominated for Best Original Screenplay, when you have films like Brick and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and many others, it's terrible. Admittedly, it's just bad, awful. They are my
the only one I thought was again for original screenplay. Maybe not picture because is Broken Flowers. It's Jim Jarmusch. Muschke? I'm not sure you say his name. Yeah, Jim Jarmusch. Okay, Jim Jarmusch. Yeah, I mean, it's not his best film, but writing-wise, it's really good. Like, Bill Murray is amazing in it. The soundtrack's amazing, but literally the one thing that stands out is the writing, and I think that should have been nominated. Maybe not quite as good as Squid and the Whale. Definitely better than Crash, though.
Everything's just, but it was better than Crash.
Yeah.
And Crash won, so...
Yeah, that's the basis you've got to go off.
Crash is so bad.
For anyone out there who likes Crash, why?
You're wrong. I hate you.
Now we're going to do the filmography questions. I will name 2 actors or 2 directors, and Josh is going to tell me which entire filmography he would watch out of the 2. Okay, we'll start with the first one. 2 actors. Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt easily. Just because Johnny Depp...
You don't have to answer that fast, you know. You can think about it.
I'll think about it, and I've thought about it, and it's Brad Pitt, because Brad Pitt has so many good films, and I'll have to sit through 12 Years a Slave again. But I
I
don't.
don't think that's that bad.
No, I thought it was quite bad.
I mean, it's not.
I
It's
don't-
not the best film of the year, but
No, but there are so many, not just like Oscar films or anything like that, but there are so many like 90-minute just great films that Brad Pitt has been in, and there are loads of others that are just well written. Like Killing Them Softly, for example, is an incredibly well written film that he's in. Whereas Johnny Depp, despite how much I like him as an actor, he is in so many things that I just hate, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and multiple other Tim Burton films, and that I just can't sit through. I can't watch him again. It was hard enough the first time. Whereas I don't think, feel free to call some out, but I don't think there are any Brad Pitt films that I'm like, I just can't watch that. Are there any you can think of?
none spring to mind. I'm sure if you went through his entire film, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Thelma and Louise the first time I watched it.
I like Thelma and Louise.
I can watch it.
I can watch it quite happily.
But I look at the pros more than anything.
Yeah, there's also pros then. True Romance, Inglourious Bastards, things like that. Then you've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is an amazing film.
Yeah, Fight Club, 7.
Fight Club, 7. You've got the Ocean's trilogy.
Ocean's 12 is the only one that stands out for me because I don't like that film.
I can watch it. I've seen it multiple times, so I'm quite happy watching it.
No, I think I don't agree. I don't disagree. I would pick Brad Pitt, but I think Johnny Depp's got worse films than Brad Pitt does.
Definitely.
But I enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean. I enjoy Sleepy Hollow, and Johnny Depp's still a good actor. But Brad Pitt's got the better filmography.
Yeah, I think Johnny Depp has enough. I think he's got as many bad films as he has good films, and I think Brad Pitt has mainly good films.
The only other bad film I think I can think of for Brad Pitt is Counselor.
I haven't seen it yet. I know I've heard bad things. I know you don't like it.
Yeah.
I would happily give it a watch for the first time. Just.
I mean, I've got nothing against Brad Pitt. He's really good in it, but it's just not a very good film. It's got a great, considering the cast. The cast is unreal. It's just not a good film.
No.
But that is the only one that really stands out.
Who's it by?
Ridley Scott.
Sorry, yeah. I'll get around to it.
Good. Next one?
Yeah, next.
Next one is actresses. Amy Adams or Jennifer Lawrence. Think about it. Don't just rush into it.
I am thinking about it. It's kind of annoying because Amy Adams, unless I'm wrong, is only in one David O. Russell film.
Yes.
Whereas Jennifer Lawrence is in all of them pretty much.
Pretty much.
The last 3.
Silver Linings,
American Hustle, and she's going to be in Joy.
No, Amy Adams has been in 2, and Jennifer Lawrence has been in 3.
Right.
Because Amy Adams is also in Fighter.
Oh, okay. Which you think is the best one, I believe.
Yes.
So I'd be fine with that. So Jennifer Lawrence, what's she got? She's got the Hunger Games trilogy.
To be fair, Jennifer Lawrence hasn't really been in loads of films.
Yeah.
Whereas Amy Adams sort of tracks back a little bit more to the early noughties. Whereas Jennifer Lawrence she has been in films. I'm not saying she's not been in films, but Amy Adams has probably been in more variety.
Jennifer Lawrence is in the X-Men as well, the new, the modern X-Men things, which are very good, and I'm happy. I would definitely happily watch them again. Yeah. I think I'd definitely go with Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, it doesn't matter because despite which one you pick, you still got to sit through David O. Russell films.
I know. So. Why'd you put this in?
Because I wanted you to cry.
I hate David O. Russell. Jennifer Lawrence.
If it was on the basis of which David O. Russell films we had to watch, I'd pick Amy Adams just because she's in The Fighter. But it'd be Jennifer Lawrence all the way because of the X-Men films, obviously. And she's a better actress and I enjoy watching her more. And I don't mind.
What's Amy Adams in? Older one.
She's in Doubt.
Enchanted.
Yeah, and that is a dreadful film. That is awful. Anyone who says they like that film, no. I hate that film so much.
So Jennifer Lawrence then. Do you want to do your director's one?
Director. Ooh.
Ooh,
directors. Tough question of the day. Steven Spielberg or Marty Scorsese? Martin Scorsese, for anyone who didn't understand my accent. Oh, pause. I have been debating this since I wrote it down, actually. So I think I know
Scorsese?
mine.
I think I'm going to go with...
It's tough, isn't it?
Actually... I don't know. Spielberg's done some very good films, but it's Scorsese. My only problem with Scorsese is that I don't particularly like Casino.
I like Casino.
I think it's a weak mark on his filmography. I don't know.
It's very tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Also, I haven't seen Raging Bull.
It is good. It's really good, actually. Probably not my favourite, but
what's bad by Spielberg?
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. We have. That's worse than
Jurassic Park 2.
I like Jurassic Park 2.
You're weird.
He also did Jurassic Park 1 though.
That's the thing.
Oh,
in terms of
five,
in terms of like,
Jaws as well, didn't
yeah, in terms of 5-star films, I think Spielberg's got more. But I probably only by like one film though.
Actually, I think if I had to sit down and watch them all back to back, I'd actually probably go Spielberg.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, thinking about it, like I could probably watch a Scorsese film a day.
In fact, no,
straight
I'd be
off.
there's certain Scorsese films I'd be happy to watch in a row. Like I could watch
Wolf of
Wall Street, and then Goodfellas, and then Shutter Island, and then Hugo, and but Spielberg's more entertaining.
Yeah,
in terms of having a movie marathon,
more Spielberg films in a row.
And he's probably got just as good. Well, he has got more like amazing films.
Yeah.
Like I love E.T. It took me by surprise how much I love that film. Raiders. I mean, the entire Indiana Jones trilogy. Well, you need to see that then, don't you? Yeah.
Right, let's go with Spielberg. Spielberg.
We've gone for Spielberg.
We've gone for Spielberg. I feel kind of bad.
I also because Scorsese. I do consider Scorsese.
I think Scorsese's a better director.
Yeah.
But I'd rather watch.
Yeah,
Spielberg
I do consider Scorsese to be one of my favourite directors.
I think he's incredible.
Because Goodfellas is my second favourite film ever. So.
Tarantino is never going to be on this because we'll both say him.
He is actually on it, but
Is he?
I know. Yeah, he's on one of the questions, but I know that we both go Tarantino. But it's worth a discussion, isn't it?
We'll mention it at one point in future episodes.
Nearer the time of Hateful Eight.
Yes. We were gonna. Well, I said to Cory earlier that I'd do a trailers segment, but I feel like we have enough content already.
Yeah.
So we'll skip that part out. We might do it next week.
Catchphrase.
Thanks for listening. If you like that, like us on Facebook at The Weekly Drive-In. On Twitter, it's just at Weekly Drive-In. We will have episodes up on our SoundCloud every Sunday. And we also have an Instagram, which is also The Weekly Drive-In. Thanks to The Link for supporting us and getting us off the ground and stuff like that. They'll be posting our shows weekly as well. See you next week. Probably won't see you because it's a radio show, but what are you going to do?